Hi, everybody. It's Harvard lawyer Lee. Well, if we thought things were slowing down in Depp v. Heard, we were wrong. Things are moving at an unbelievably fast pace, and they are not going well for Amber Heard. Ever since the verdict, it's really only been downhill for her. Now she's being sued by her own insurance company, which is saying it doesn't want to have to pay for the verdict against her from Johnny Depp. So let's unpack that, see what the insurance company is saying. Things are moving quickly. Tomorrow, we're going to be addressing what happened today. Johnny Depp's team filed a motion opposing Amber Heard's motion for new trial or to set aside the verdict. Johnny's team is saying, no, court, don't do that. You ought to let the judgment stand. We're going to be unpacking all of that tomorrow. So you don't want to miss any of this. Be sure to not only subscribe, but please hit that notification button so you'll know when we put out a new video. Also, follow me on Twitter at LawyerLeeW. So let's talk about this lawsuit that New York Marine and General Insurance Company has filed against Amber Heard. They have sued her in the Central District of California. Let's move to the front page so you can see that. So they sued her in the Central District of California, saying that's where she lives. This is what they're arguing. They're arguing that they want the judge to make a judicial determination. That means to declare, to say as a court that they don't have to pay for Amber Heard in the Fairfax, Virginia case. We'll unpack that, go all the way through the pleading. Now, they admit that they have an insurance policy that would ordinarily cover her for defamation. Here's what it says. It's personal liability coverage, and I'll go ahead and add the policy to the screen. The provision is way back on like page 52, so it'll take me just a second to get there. But this policy covers personal liability coverage, it's called. There we go, personal liability coverage. And it covers oral or written publication of material that slanders or libels a person or organization, including other forms of defamation, and oral or written publication of material, including other forms of defamation that violates a person's right of privacy. So they admit this policy would normally cover what the Johnny Depp case was about. So what's their argument? Why do they think it doesn't cover it? I'll get into that. There's one other set of facts that's important to their case, and that's that Amber Heard tendered the underlying action defense to them. What that means is that Amber Heard told her insurance company about this suit against her and gave them the opportunity to defend her. That's the normal process in an insurance suit. What New York Marine says is that they agreed to do that. They stepped up to the plate, said, we're going to defend you, and they hired a firm called Cameron McAvoy to defend her. And I'll go ahead and pull the insurance policy out. That they hired a firm called Cameron McAvoy to defend her, and it was defending her when, and this is what they say, Heard or her agents instructed other firms defending Heard, I guess that's Elaine Bredehouse firm, in the underlying action to not include Cameron McAvoy in Heard's ongoing defense. And then on November 2nd, 2020, Cameron McAvoy withdrew. I can already tell you what one of the arguments Amber Heard's going to make is. She's going to say that was back in 2020. If you thought you weren't getting fair representation, you should have said something long ago. You should have stepped up to the plate and said, Judge, we aren't getting our chance, or Amber Heard, we aren't getting our chance, and where were you? Instead, you let your firm that you say you wanted get out of the case 2 years ago, and you did nothing about it. So that'll be an argument, of course, that she'll make. But right now, what New York Marine is saying is, we wanted this firm, and you kicked them out. We don't know anything about why she did that. We'll be finding that out in the pleadings where Amber responds to this, hopefully pretty soon, given the topic. That's what I would hope. Now, New York Marine only had $1 million in coverage. That means the most they ever would have paid would have been $1 million to Johnny Depp. But of course, the judgment was way bigger. It was $10 million to Johnny Depp for compensatory. And then it was a $5 million punitive damages, which was reduced to $350,000 under the law in Virginia. They would never have paid anything but $1 million of that. That was their policy limit. But now, if they're not going to pay, of course, Johnny Depp will never get that $1 million. That will never be paid. So why is it that they say they don't have to pay? Here's the reason. Let's go to the complaint. Let's add that in and take a look at paragraph 21. You will remember the jury instructions and the jury verdict form that Judge Ascarati used, how specific it was. It covered exactly point by point what the jury had to find. And two of the things they had to find are relevant to New York Marine's argument. Here's the first one, that the defamatory implication by Ms. Heard was designed and intended by her. Designed and intended. She planned it. She intended it. The second finding was that Amber Heard made the statement with actual malice. And New York Marine is saying those two findings are what free them from having to do anything in terms of paying it. Now, how is that? Well, here's what the argument is. New York Marine has 4 causes of action that it asks the court to rule on. Here's the first one. The very first one is declaratory relief is the plaintiff's duty to indemnify Heard for the judgment order under the policy. Now, that sounds complicated. Here's all it means. It means we want you, judge, to tell everybody, as a judge, as a court, to declare that we don't have to pay Amber if she has to pay a judgment in the Fairfax, Virginia case. Now, specifically, in this count, they're asking for the judgment, the one that the court just entered. They're saying, we want you, judge, to declare that that order that was entered on June 24th, we don't have to pay because of what the jury found. This is what they say. California Insurance Code Section 533 says that an insurer is not liable for a loss caused by the willful act of the insured, but he is not exonerated by the negligence of the insured or of the insured's agents or others. Now, again, sounds technical. All that means is this: an insurer isn't liable if the person who is insured did an act willfully, intentionally. But an insurance company can't get off the hook just because the person acted negligently. In other words, if you accidentally run the red light, no problem. But if you intentionally ran the red light and intentionally ran into someone on the other side, California law won't let the insurance company cover you. And the reason for that is that California, and this is a common provision, the government doesn't want to allow people to get insurance that will protect them against intentional acts. So they make a choice. Hey, I'm going to go do this willful thing to hurt someone, and I'm going to get insurance, so it won't even cost me anything. It'll be free. That's not okay, and therefore there's a statute against it. New York Marine is saying that what the California statute prevents them from doing is from indemnifying her, because the jury specifically found that what she did was intentional and willful. Thus, they can't pay her under the statute. They asked the court to go ahead and rule on this because they say it's an actual controversy, because there's already a judgment entered in the case. Now, the second cause of action, they may have more of a problem with that. The second cause of action is declaratory relief as to plaintiff's duty to indemnify Heard for any judgment in the underlying action. Point being that they want not just to not have to pay Amber Heard for the judgment that was entered on June 24th. They want the judge to go further. They want the judge to say, even if there's an appeal and the case is reversed, or even if Judge Ascarati overturns the judgment, we want you to say that we don't have to pay that amount because of the fact that it's still going to be a willful act. Now, that's a little bit harder because that hasn't happened yet. So there will probably be a dispute about whether there's an actual controversy on that. But they want that to be something declared now, so they don't have to pay that at all, ever. Now, the third cause of action is declaratory relief as the plaintiff's duty to defend Heard in the underlying action. In other words, they want the court to say California law prohibits the insurance company from paying for Amber Heard's defense because this is all related to something with actual malice, intentional, willful, and we're not allowed to cover that. Then the fourth cause of action is declaratory relief as the plaintiff's duty to defend Heard in the underlying action under the policy. And this is different because what this is saying is that under the policy, Amber Heard had a duty and responsibility to help New York Marine with the conduct of suits, and she had to attend hearings and trials, and that she didn't do that because she kicked out the attorneys that they wanted to hire. She wouldn't allow them to participate in the defense of the case. Now, we don't know what it is that Amber Heard will respond to that. We don't know if she will say that's untrue or if she will agree that she kicked them out and she thought they were incompetent. We have no idea what her rationale was. All we know is what they're saying right now. They've asked for three things. They've asked the court to say, you don't have to indemnify Amber Heard even if she has to pay Johnny Depp. We also want, Judge, that you will say we don't have to pay Amber Heard ever in that case, even if there's a reversal or a new trial, an appeal, any of that. We want you to say we never have to pay in that case. And the third thing is they ask that the judge say they don't have to pay for her defense. And they include specifically her defense on appeal. So Amber would be on her own paying for the appeal. On the other hand, there'd be no $1 million available to pay Johnny Depp. That may be one of the things standing in the way of any kind of settlement in the case. There may be an issue where Amber Heard would pay the $1 million, who knows? But she's not going to do that because she's not getting it from the insurance company. So we don't have full information on that, but no doubt we'll be getting more and more information. Things are moving so quickly. Please be sure to subscribe with the notifications on, and also be sure to follow me on Lawyer Lee W on Twitter so you can get all the latest updates. And I'll see you in the next video.